You're listening to the Electronic Media Collective Podcast Network. Yeah, it's a mouthful. For more great shows like the one you're about to enjoy, visit electronicmediacollective.com. And now, our feature presentation.
This is Melanie, and in the future, your children will all have ID badges with chips that will be read by their school and their bus and their everything, and it will save Melanie tons and tons of time searching for missing children.
In the future, forget Big Brother, Melanie is watching.
And this is Jesse. In the future, pet hair will be used to create paper, so you won't chop down as many trees, and trees will just take over, and every city will be just like covered in trees, man.
That's gonna be awesome. It'll be like that.
I tell you, like your taxi cab runs into a tree. That won't be awesome.
Well, maybe we won't need taxis anymore. We'll just Tarzan around.
Oh, well, we'll still need a Tarzan taxi, some kind of like George of the Jungle, carry me around type of thing.
We'll need giant human-sized, or not human-sized, bigger than human-sized, like creatures to we can hang on their backs while they swing around. Then
like Chewbacca's.
Yeah, we need some Chewbacca's.
Right, some Chewbacca's around.
Wookiee taxi service. Yeah, there we go.
Welcome to the Grawlix podcast. This is episode number 42.
Whoa. Hey, isn't that the answer to the ultimate question?
Yeah.
Yeah, I read something about that the other day, and it was that, what was it? Gosh darn it.
I think that was the problem in the book too.
No, it had meaning. Oh, it had something to do with whatever you make of it, or something like that. Was 40 in computer speak, 42 translate into something like whatever you want it to be.
Oh,
so that was
like
good.
X.
It was like a good answer, actually. Meaning is life is what you make it be. Ta-da! The universe's mysteries are solved.
Here we go.
All right, heads up. I'm sick, so I might sound a little weird.
You sound way better than you did on Sunday, though.
So Sunday would have been, terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, this episode might be a little off and a little shorter because we're recording on a different day, so kind of a different schedule. And,
And we get off late and we wake up early.
Yeah.
These bums do.
It was a Tuesday.
It was a Tuesday.
It certainly was.
But first, before we get to our poll list pick, Jesse and I were on, you can hear us on another show.
What? Yeah, we did. That's right.
The Doctor Who show, which, how did they get that title? How did they beat people to that title?
That's a good question, yeah.
That's so great. The Doctor Who show is a podcast about kittens. No, about Doctor Who. And
what?
And
I think we did it wrong.
So what? There's a little story leading into this. AM Audio Media, they do the Doctor Who Dark Journey audio drama stuff, and they're on the podcast network with us. They reached out to me and asked if we would be interested in doing a segment for an episode of the Doctor Who show that they were guest producing. It sounds complicated, but they were putting together an episode about Doctor Who fan music, and I was like, well, I've made Doctor Who fan music, so sure. And I talked to Jesse because Jesse is got great Doctor Who fan music recommendations, and we recorded about a 11-12 minute segment for the show, and during which they edited in one of Jesse's recommendations during our segment.
Oh, yeah.
Which I was not expecting them to cut songs into our segment, and I was thrilled. I was like, oh, man, that's great.
Yeah. This is, bed music? Is that what it's called? They had Chameleon Circuit as bed music for part of the talk, and then they spliced in the one song, and then spliced in your song, and yeah, it was good.
Yeah, so you can hear me and Jesse talk a bit about Doctor Who fan music, fan kind of fan projects in general. And you can hear a Doctor Who theme I made like 4 years ago.
Yeah, you should check it out. It's you can find it at thedwshow.podbean.com.
Yeah. And I believe the episode is Night of the Doctor's Music or something.
Yeah. The Night of the Doctor's Music.
Yeah.
It was a good time. Fun.
It was some pretty gnarly editing.
Yeah.
Jesse and I we recorded quite a bit, and then I had to, and a lot of it was awkward because we weren't really sure. There was some editing. There was a lot of time, and I had to fit it into a little time. So
we didn't know what our format was, so we were all over the place.
Yeah.
It sounds like our usual shows.
Yeah, basically. Oh man, there's still a promo for we recorded a whole bunch of stuff for a promo for another podcast, which and I haven't edited it together yet. And in fact, you're probably going to hear their promo for us in this episode. So they were Johnny on the spot. They did a great promo. You'll hear it later in this episode. The Roman podcast. I played it.
I didn't do anything in that, did I?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so.
It weirds me out when things happen and I don't recall being part of it. So I'm glad.
All those blackouts.
Yeah.
That blackout drinking.
Speaking of which.
It was a Tuesday.
It is a Tuesday.
Oh, yeah. I did a
Oh, you did a thing.
Iron Fist review on I did an Iron Fist review for the Two-Headed Nerd, which you can hear on their latest episode of Cover to Cover. I don't know if they have numbers on those, but yeah.
I think they have dates. I think it goes by dates.
So that would be March 26th. No, 27th.
I did listen to your segment, and I do not disagree with your points. We will have to have our own Iron Fist discussion, I think, but we can't do it this episode.
Right.
Another thing I was thinking about, and I just didn't want to implement it right away, although Melanie had a point with that, is possibly switching the poll list and the other episode. So the poll list episode would be the second episode of the month. And the only reason I would do that is because on our second episode, that usually is like when we want to talk about more timely stuff. Like Flash, like CW stuff. Like as it is, like we can't ever talk about that stuff on the second episode because that episode will go up almost a month removed from our recording.
Right.
So there's
that makes sense.
Potential to be like 4 episodes late. But I don't know. I'm still torn about it. Just because...
No, it makes sense though, because it will go up and then it won't be like 4 weeks late as opposed to maybe being a couple days or a week late.
Yeah, it'll be like our usual because, even before we went to this schedule, like we'd be an episode, maybe 2 episodes at most behind, but it was not so far removed that it seemed like weird. But as it is now, like you're adding another 2 weeks on top of that.
Right.
And my point was we should do that as soon as we can because we just changed the format. So it'd be better to do it now than to wait. And after people get used to it being this way, then we have another big weird change.
Right.
That's true.
But
it just feels like the poll list is like our flagship segment. So like, I don't know.
But I mean, maybe I'm wrong.
Well, it'll still be important no matter where we put it. It'll still be important. We just got to be consistent going forward.
Yeah,
I agree. And I am sure we have lots of wonderful fans, but it's not like we're swimming in them. And if we switch it up a bit,
because that would be awkward.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't mind.
What does that mean?
I just think that'd be kind of cool. Wouldn't it feel if it was like, wet or gooey and there's a bunch of people like rolling around? I don't know. I think it would feel kind of cool.
It doesn't. It doesn't sound like you're talking about swimming anymore.
Well, if swimming in people, that's what it'd be like, right?
Swimming.
Yeah, but
not swinging, right?
You know how
it says Soylent Green.
You know how like when pictures of like, have you seen The Devil's Advocate? And then in the background at the end, there's all those people like in the mosaic thing up in the back, like rolling around each other. But they've got to actually be rolling around, and when they film that thing, rolling around in some kind of like moist, stuff all around with each other. And I'm like, that would feel really cool, especially if like everybody had just shaved or something. That would be awesome. this, I don't know.
I got what you're saying.
Okay. But I've had some moments in the bathtub when I just shaved my legs and I was like rubbing them together and I'm like, this is the most fantastic feeling I've ever felt. So that's a little, that's a little bit of what it would be like, I think.
I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
Wow. What a tangent.
That's quite an aside.
Yeah. It's some insight into Melanie. There you go. You're welcome.
Well, watch out, fans. You're going to get swam in.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to have to get more than just a couple or else it's going to be awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, okay. I'll say this then with the caveat that we can back out at any time.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not talking about swimming in the fans anymore. I'll say this. Okay. This month we're going to stick with this episode is the pull list episode, obviously, but next time we record, perhaps we can switch it. Mm-hmm. And if any of the listeners want to give us feedback on if they think that'll throw them off or something, or if it just doesn't matter, let us know. If we hear nothing, most likely we'll hear nothing. We'll just assume it's fine. Mm-hmm. Silence is consent in this situation only.
Whoa. That took a turn.
It did. I apologize. After I said silence, I was like, oh no, what am I doing? Yeah. So there's that. I don't think people will mind because we usually kind of have like a key topic every episode, and the pull list just means that key topic that episode is this certain book. So I don't think it matters which episode that goes out in.
And if they're really, being like they can't live without it, maybe we could be nice and send it to them early anyway, because they actually contacted us, and that would be in itself an amazing thing.
Let's not get crazy. Send it early.
We like you guys enough to swim in you, but come on.
If I don't have to edit both episodes at one time, I don't. Just so you know.
Yeah.
Right.
No. Yeah, if you want to reach out, we'll do something. Mm-hmm. You'll hear something.
Yeah, we'll be. You reached out. That's right there. Worth it all.
Can you smell the desperation coming out of your phone or MP3 player or whatever you're listening to this on? It's gonna ruin the circuitry. All that thick desperation.
It's moist.
You can swim in that desperation.
I don't know why people don't like that word. Moist is not a bad word.
I thought you didn't like it.
No, I'm fine with moist.
Oh.
Everyone else in the world apparently has an issue with it.
But there's like a decent amount of the population that don't like that word.
Randy doesn't like slimy.
Slimy?
Yeah.
Like the worm on Sesame Street?
No, he does just the word. When I describe him, he's a slimy, and he's
Oscar the Grouch's best pal? That little worm?
Slimy depends upon the context. What are we talking about being slimy? There's a lot of things I don't want to think about as slimy.
But I don't think slimy is gross, is my thing. You think it's gross in certain situations, and I don't think it's gross ever.
Slime.
It's slimy.
Is the definition of gross.
No, slimy is a feeling, not...
that you get from slime.
And things that are slimy feeling.
Slimer is the only good slime thing.
No, the slime on Nickelodeon was good. Yeah. Everybody wanted to be slimed.
Yeah, I didn't.
Really?
I liked it. I liked watching it. It's like,
I wanted to swim in it. There you go.
Makes sense.
Bringing it full circle.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. So what are we talking about this episode?
We got the poll list.
We got the poll list. Do you happen to have the site up there, Jesse?
I sure can.
I think I know. I think I know which is the lead for our next poll list book. But in case something changed, last I looked,
I think you are.
It was not a tie. Probably because we've read the other things that have been tied with this book. That's probably the winner already.
Yep. Our winner with 28.57% of the votes. Because we're throwing in decimal points now. Yep. Superman, Secret Identity.
Ooh.
Oh, some Superman. Ooh. That sounds like good passive entertainment.
That's a call back to our pre-show, ladies and gentlemen. Speaking of which, we have a Patreon, and you should check it out. Is it patreon.com/Grawlix podcast?
Yes, it is.
Where you get all the pre-show nonsense. I mean, content. that we come up with.
We'll call it non-tent.
Non-tent? All right.
Consents.
And today we had a pizza party.
We did.
Because it's a pre-show and there was pizza involved.
I'm trying hard not to eat pizza now. This is the main show. I got to pull it together, be professional. No pizza eaten on the main show. Who do you think I am, Melanie?
You spent too much time talking and not enough time eating. I ate like half a pizza in the pre-show, so.
This is true, but that's because I didn't want to leave Jesse hanging.
Yeah, but
welcome to the pre-show, and then me and Melanie just proceed to eat pizza.
Oh yeah, and I'm like doing a little dance over here, like the audio version of a little dance.
Audio hand jives.
Yeah, audio hand jives. Like a little fez, like I'm like an organ grinder monkey.
All right, so. Anyway, you can get those at Patreon on our Patreon page. For becoming a Patreon member for as little as $1. In fact, almost everything at this point is available for just $1.
Yeah, pretty close. Yeah, but there's videos, there's all sorts of stuff over there.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And we're not talking
this month.
Oh yeah. Okay. No.
So this month, that's what we're gonna do next month. Superman: Secret Identity. But this month, what do we read?
Bone.
Jeff Smith's Bone.
I like it.
All right, so to get specific.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Randy, you got notes, right? You got notes?
I'm desperately looking at my phone, but I don't even have the comic on here. I have nothing.
Oh no!
Okay,
where are the notes?
This is Bone Volume 1. Oh, you're right. I don't have notes. This is how prepared we are. This is Bone Volume 1. Out of Boneville.
Out from Boneville. Written by Jeff Smith and color by Steve Hamaker.
So Bone is very well known.
Yeah, it's a comic we hear about all the time. I'd say it's probably on our list of shame or whatever.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, well, let's just jump into it. What did you guys know about Bone going into it?
Nothing.
You knew nothing?
I had heard of it, like far, from pretty much everywhere. Like people talk about it all the time. And I knew that it was a comic that is generally all ages friendly because it has been since picked up by Scholastic, I believe. And so like you can buy Bone volumes through your Scholastic book fairs at school.
And they're mini, long running series, a long series.
I didn't even know it was on the pull list at the time, but it seems like something that I would enjoy continuing reading at some point if I have time.
Yeah.
I'm pretty much on board with what Jesse was saying. Almost every comic book podcast that like reviews collections of stuff has talked about Bone at some point in time. Yeah, I'd heard about it everywhere, and I've only ever heard good things.
See, I think that's my problem is that I don't listen to the world, and that's why I don't hear about these things and know they exist until they happen. For me, I mean,
Yeah.
But I kind of like it that way, so I'll continue this, and you guys continue your thing, and I think it works well.
What you're saying is, you guys pay attention to stuff and continue feeding me the comics, and
yes.
I'll read them sometimes.
Exactly.
Sounds good. I see nothing wrong with this system.
All right, in full disclosure, Melanie read half of it.
But I did context picture read the rest.
So don't listen to things she says about it.
I bet I have a fairly good grasp on the occurrences of the book.
She might have a better grasp than us.
You know what?
It could happen.
She'll probably be schooling us about it.
It could happen.
In Bone, what are these creatures? Okay, so the book opens and we're introduced to these three characters.
Mm-hmm.
Was it Phony Bone?
Well,
Phony Bone. And then you've got who's the main character?
Plain Jane Bone.
I thought his name was something like
John Everyman Bone.
It was similar to Phony Bone, but it wasn't phony. It was like phone or phone. I don't know.
Oh yeah, it's Phone Bone. Phone Bone.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yep, you were right.
See, I am already schooling you guys, and we just started.
You are. Phony Bone is spelled phone. Like phony. He's a phony, and then he's got a star on his chest.
Yeah,
he's like a star. He's like a star belly sneech, And then like Phone Bone is he's the plain Jane one that's kind of short. And then we have Smiley Bone, who's he's the cigar smoking, wisecracking
fun guy.
Yeah.
He's the Melanie of the group.
he's the Melanie Bone.
Well, now I have to be careful with how I describe him. No, yeah. Well, the one with the star, he's like rich guy, kind of jerk. And then, as we mentioned, we got John Everyman Bone, who's just like, not a blank template. He's just like a regular dude. And then, yeah, Smiley is like goes along with whatever. He doesn't pay attention to what's out in the world. He just waits for people to hand it to him, and then he'll know.
And then he'll make the best of it.
Yeah.
But they're out in the desert because Rich Guy Bone,
Phony Bone,
got ran out of Boneville.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and these creatures are like, I don't know, they're very cartoony,
mm-hmm.
but
they look like nerds that don't have any color.
Yeah, you're right, like the candy nerds, the way that they're, except they have arms. I think candy nerds don't have, they just have like legs and their big noses and
you're
stuff.
Right.
But
right. So they're nerds with arms and no color.
Yeah. The way that candy nerds are depicted on the packaging.
So if you tried to eat a bone, it would fight back.
Yeah.
Because it has arms.
Whereas nerds don't. Because they don't have arms.
Yep.
And they're kind of bickering amongst each other. Well, not kind of. They are, because Rich Guy Bone is a jerk. And the other two are just like going along with him. They're like, well,
Phone Bone and Phony Bone are like cousins or something, right?
Yeah, they're like related. And the other two didn't get run out of town, but they're going along with him, and they're lost out in the desert.
Mm-hmm. They went as far as their maps go,
but then they found another weird map,
mm-hmm.
And then a swarm of locusts basically came and separated them,
mm-hmm.
and
like they do,
like as tends to happen out in the desert.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When you're running away from locusts, you tend to fall down a cliff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Into a precipice.
John Everyman Bone.
I love how you're just like renaming them. You're just like, that guy.
That's because even now, Phony Bone is the only name I remember, even though you guys said both their names. Oh, Smiley and John Everyman.
Yeah, that one.
No, he's nice guy. Nice guy, Bone.
Nice guy, Bone.
And we spend almost the entirety of the rest of the book of this volume with that, following him. Spoilers for Melanie, but also spoilers for everybody else.
I knew that.
We're going to have to go into spoilers.
I saw that we spent the rest of the time with him.
Well, there's other spoilers. Do we want to go into spoilers? Like in general in this review?
We always go into spoilers.
Okay,
we have to a little. I mean, like this is kind of like our introduction to everything. So everything's new in this first volume.
Mm-hmm.
Other Bone characters, they might show up again towards the end.
Mm-hmm.
So John Everyman is following this new map that Smiley found the map, but he ended up with it when they got separated. It's like a hand-drawn map, and he's following it, and it leads him to a foresty, not desert, gonna die area.
Mm-hmm. Over the mountains.
Yes.
So there's already a desert and a precipice and some mountains separating them from their homeland.
Yeah.
And in between, he runs into some characters that are pretty pivotal, like a dragon.
I love the dragon.
The dragon is rad.
Yeah.
And then so are the creatures too. Like what do they call them? They call them rat creatures.
Yeah,
they don't really look like rats at all.
Yeah, I was surprised when they first referenced them as rat creatures, and I'm like, is that what those were supposed to be?
If you look at their hind legs, they kind of have like rat-like hind legs a little bit, the way they bend. But for the most part, it seems like they run around upright, or for the most part, and their faces don't look like rats. They're just like hairy creatures with pot bellies, big red eyes, and mouths.
Yes, they don't have the nose, and as far as I could tell, they don't have the tail.
Yeah, I like the look of those creatures quite a bit, actually.
Yeah, like character design in general, like the dragon,
mm-hmm.
The creatures, even the way that people are drawn. Like everybody has like a different look to them, and yet somehow this all meshes.
I don't know about that.
I have a slight bone to pick with that. That's one of my criticisms. Okay. I think for the most part, I would agree until the people come into it.
Yeah, which I was like, why are there people? But that's another thing. And our consensus, we agreed on this, I think, was that everyone is cutesy little drawn things, but then the people are like Disney princesses.
Yeah, that's what really throws me about that. Okay, so yeah, eventually a bunch of stuff happens. He runs into this woman named Thorn and eventually her grandma.
Named Ben, which I think is fantastic, isn't it? Isn't her name Grandma Ben?
I know her first name's Rose.
I swear she says when you meet Grandma Ben, but that's as far as I got. That was like the last of my actual reading.
Her first name turns out to be Rose. But my issue is the characters, the art style. It looks, especially just the way that the bones looks very comic strip style, like classic comic strip. And the creatures don't always necessarily, but they still mesh. It's like you said, the creatures do look a little bit different, have a different style, but it still meshes. Until Thorn, the young lady, comes in and she looks like a Disney character, and that's when it starts to like kind of fall apart for me.
They're much
like
more detailed.
It just throws it threw a wrench into it for me. Like visually, I was like, whoa, okay, this is weird and unexpected. Like it doesn't look bad, and I do want to say that like the art looks good. The illustration's always good and the coloring's good, but stylistically, I didn't think those mesh so well. The grandma isn't as bad because she looks a little bit more exaggerated with her chin and stuff, like the old lady chin, where it's like as if she was missing teeth or something. So
but you're right, she does refer to her as Grandma Ben. I didn't remember that either.
Sorry.
But yeah,
schooling us on this,
man. She's got the names, she knows them.
Yep. Meanwhile, the dragon, like his look is real interesting because he kind of looks almost like a dog with these ears, but there's like these Dr. Seuss Whoville poof balls on the ends of his ears.
yeah.
Thinking about the Disney princess thing, he reminds me a lot, actually, now that I was thinking about it, of the dragon from Mulan, only, bigger.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you guys have seen Mulan.
I am a real dragon.
If you haven't seen Mulan, it's one of the better
modern
for girls.
Oh, I see.
It's a good thing for a girl to watch, I think.
Mulan.
It's empowering.
Is she saved by a man?
What?
Is she saved by a man?
No.
Good.
She saves a man.
Nonsense.
Yes.
Consense.
A lot of this reminds me of like Popeye for some reason. I don't know.
The
way they walk, the way, the grandma for sure, and then also just like kind of like how Phony Bone is always angry all the time. He's a surly little guy, and he's always stomping around, and I don't know why that reminds me of like a Popeye type character.
Because they do.
Yeah, I guess so.
One thing that the bits that I read at least, that slightly disturbed me, and I will share with you all, that there's a lot of interspecies loving type things going on, and that's weird to me. Like I remember the possums were all like, "Ooh, he's so brave or handsome" or something of that nature, and then he sees the girl, the human, and he's all like, "Ooh, human," and I'm like, yeah, but you're not, and that's weird, and I think it's a little bit gross. So they should.
He's got the anatomy of the Pillsbury Doughboy too.
Yeah.
I didn't pick up on the opossum thing. That just seemed like, older ladies or moms with kids who have like, oh, he's really good with the kids. Like I didn't pick up on.
You don't know moms very well.
No, well, okay, I'll give you that. But the other, his attraction to Thorn is not subtle at all.
Nope.
It's very cartoony. There's hearts and mind you, a kid audience, that's not going to weird them out. They're all just cartoon characters, and it's like, cute. I did find it a little strange. Mm-hmm. What would you guys describe the tone of this as? Like, there's some laughs, there's some comedy,
there's some action.
There's a lot of it's Princess Bradian. It's got a little bit of it all.
Yeah. Maybe that's why it hits so well. Like a lot of people, like that's a movie that's universally loved, and this seems to be a book that's universally loved.
Yeah, because it does. It seems to have at least a little bit of everything, and I didn't read all of it, but from what I could see, it's structured really well too. because it looks like, from what I've seen, like it introduces the main characters, then it introduces, the secondary-ish characters, and lets that go along for a little while. And I saw at some point he meets up with his cousin and their friend later. But then it starts to get into like some history of the other folk that I really want to read. I didn't read it, but I saw it and I was like, "Ooh, this is good," because
they're rat creatures and stuff.
Huh?
The rat creatures and stuff.
Well, the rat creatures have their little queen, and I don't know if it was, but I think there was a little girl crying. I think that was supposed to be the girl when she was a young.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes.
And, and so that I'm super intrigued by that. Them chasing them all and whatever. So I want to find out what goes on with that. But I'm like, there's like so much more story to it, and it's evolving, And then that's the best way to get people into it is you start with something and then you slowly evolve it to add in all the other bits, and they just get stuck in it. They can't leave it because they're like, I have to know now. Because I love this character and that character and this character and that character, and they're all stuck in it together. You know what I mean?
Are you saying it's smarter to start small, maybe with one character, and slowly add more characters instead of just jumping into the whole the whole...
Yes. Well, yeah. Yeah, and do like building those little characters and then get to the big all-consuming plot that they have to continue on, because no matter which character they ended up liking, they're all involved in it in the end. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I guess that's the other thing I did kind of know about this book going in, is it's like the whole thing with Bone is it's an adventure story. It's a big adventure, and it does nail that, because so he gets to the forest, and we've kind of filled in little bits of future detailed plot there, here and there, and that's fine.
Can I just say real quick, I love when they're like, winter comes fast, and then it's like just one big layer of snow that drops.
Oh yeah,
it's like a snow wafer.
Very Looney Tune. It's very like boom, it's there.
I loved it.
Yeah, in 3 panels, it's gone from summer to winter.
It's like a big pancake of snow dropped, and it's winter. Bam.
It kind of sets the tone for like how this world works too. It's like boom. Okay, that's how it is now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that actually surprised me, because I wasn't expecting there to be such like cartoony type events.
Mm-hmm.
And it's significant because as soon as winter hit, he'd be stuck there. He couldn't get back to Boneville. He couldn't necessarily find his friends.
Yeah, because there's always those. I've never been in the mountain. I mean, I've been in the mountains, but I've never lived in the mountains. But every book or movie or anything about mountains is always like, well, the snow covers the passes and you can't go anywhere. It's one of those situations.
They need a cat,
A cat Bob?
Bobcat. they need a Bobcat Goldthwait. No, I was just thinking a cat, one of those tank treaded. It's The Shining. I was trying to go to The Shining.
I knew it. I'm sorry. But yeah.
Scatman Crothers is going to come save us. Anyway, he befriends a family of possums, gets chased around by rat creatures. The bugs. The bug.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of my favorite.
Those are fun.
I kind of seen it coming, but that was one of my favorite. He comes across this little, and it's always drawn like just a leaf. You don't even see legs most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
He almost steps on it, and he's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" Blah blah blah, and he's like, calls his brother, and his brother's huge, and it's a good gag.
Mm-hmm.
Weird leaf creature, but the little leaf bug shows back up later and travels around with him for a moment. But that was fun. But he's the one that tells him about Thorn. Thorn knows everything. Eventually, he runs across this lady who turns out to be Thorn. She lets him stay at her and her grandma's house for a while until her grandma gets back from cow racing, which is humorous. Then you find out she's actually like racing the cows herself on foot. She's racing against cows. So that's... I'm sorry. I forgot.
No, that's good. It's fine.
Yeah, her grandma's might be my favorite character, I think, because she's just tough. She's just this crazy old tough lady.
I kind of like Phony Bone in the way that he's just like utterly irredeemable. Like,
oh yeah,
like there's nothing to like about him. You just know he's just up to no good. Period.
So he shows back up in the story kind of out of nowhere, and it seems like he's pretty much just been lost wandering through the woods this whole winter, because he just shows up. You don't really know what he's been doing, but he runs into the grandma before the grandma even gets back and sees the other Bone and her granddaughter, and he's a jerk. and they do not get along.
No.
Does he get along with anybody?
No.
Yeah.
They spend some time making this pie for Grandma to kind of like smooth things over and make it so that like Phone Bone can stick around. John Everyman Bone.
Phone Bone.
And
no,
then,
you can call
of
him
course, Phony Bone shows up and meets Grandma first, and then they both show up at the same time, and he's like pretty much soured the whole first impression before it's even happened.
Mm.
And then he's like, "Oh, hey, here's this pie," and just like eats it. This pie that they made for Grandma, and he doesn't care. He's like a honey badger.
How did he not get eaten by rats before he got there?
I don't know. He ran
doesn't-
into him.
I'm just saying. Wonder if he was wandering around that whole time being a bad word.
He didn't run into them because bigger plot a bigger plot that comes out of this that doesn't go anywhere in this volume. Obviously, it becomes a big thing in future volumes or whatever. The rat creatures have been instructed to find Phony Bone, the one with the star on his chest, for some reason.
I do recall them
during that big meeting you're talking about, or the
talking about he doesn't have a star, but they were talking about Phone Bone. Okay.
Yeah. We don't need to necessarily go plot by plot through the rest because, I mean, there's other stuff that happens. There's a big attack of like tons of rat creatures, which is pretty awesome. The dragon, I really enjoy the dragon because nobody, despite the other creatures around, nobody that John Everyman Bone tells about the dragon believes him.
Yes, that's pretty great.
And at one point, he's even like, he tells Thorn about it, and Thorn's like, "Oh, that's silly, blah blah blah." And she's walking away, and the dragon's head like pops out of the well next to the John Everyman Bone.
He's like, I don't want her not to see me. I just want her to think you're nuts.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It turns out Grandma and the dragon know each other somehow.
Uh-oh.
That's how we find out Grandma's first name. The dragon knows, and they do not get along.
Really?
Yeah, he's like Rosie.
Yeah, he just stomps off basically.
The Grandma takes on the rat creatures like barehanded. It's pretty fun.
by
the end of the book, they end up in a town. They all three come together. Phony Bone is approached by the leader of these rat people, who looks pretty much like the Grim Reaper. He's even got a sickle at the end.
Is it a guy? I thought it was a chick.
Well, it could be a chick. I assumed it was a guy, but they don't really give specific features. Like it's a person, it's a Grim Reaper type in a robe, and you don't see their face.
Well, it looks like a feminine Grim Reaper to me.
Okay, well that could be.
My opinion, but
He says something about Phony's soul, but the book kind of leads up to that point and then is over because it's just volume 1.
So the story does not end.
No, like you do get the closure of like he's reunited with his cousins or whatever.
Yeah.
And you find out why Phony Bone was run out of town and stuff like that. You're introduced to this plot point of the Grim Reaper type character, leader of the rat creatures, is after this guy for some reason.
So it's a classic tale of good versus evil and the struggle to overcome.
Well, I mean, I don't know because Phony Bone is not good.
No, I know. Was he not? I don't know because I've only read the beginning, but was it not some sort of embezzlement or something that he was run out of town for? I thought that was the case.
Well, I mean, like he had been involved in some of that, but I think this was also he was running for mayor, and there was this whole thing that happened.
There was a bunch of stuff, and it kind of played out like a gag. So, like, John Everyman Bone was explaining to, I think, Thorn what he had done.
Yeah.
What Phony Bone had done, and got to a certain point, and she's like, "So that's when they ran him out of town?" And he's like, "No, that's when the bad prunes kicked in." And that's kind of where the story is. Like, you know,
it just kept going one-upping, like it kept escalating.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So
I think the consensus is that this is fantastic and everyone should read it.
Ooh. I think it's good. And
fantastic.
No, I think it's good.
He doesn't like Princess Bride either. He doesn't count.
What?
What?
Okay, I'm just gonna say our first date.
I like what
we went and saw Princess Bride, and he was like, "I'm not really that thrilled about Princess Bride. It's okay, but I don't really like it that much." So that's where we're coming from.
I don't remember that at all.
You don't? You told me that, and I was like, "Are you kidding?" But you're gonna come and see it anyway because this is gonna be our date, and you're like, "Yeah." You don't remember that?
I do like Princess Bride. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
I don't understand what's happening here.
You became a horrible person.
No, he's not a horrible person. He's a wonderful person.
You don't like one Grant Morrison book and the whole world turns against you.
No. You don't like Spaceballs either, but that's beside the point.
I don't like Spaceballs. I don't like Spaceballs. I stand behind that.
Okay.
Because movies like Young Frankenstein and Blazing Saddles actually at least have some interesting satire going on. Spaceballs is lazy spoof, lazy parody. Don't care for it.
Well, I disagree.
Okay, if Mel Brooks's movies were a series of puns, I'm relating it to something Grawlix related, if it's a series of puns, when he got to Spaceballs, that's the point in which we're all out of puns and we just start forcing trying to make puns out of words and it doesn't work. That's Spaceballs.
Well, baby, I say ooh to pretty much all of them equally. So
Young Frankenstein is amazing.
I like them all.
It's a masterpiece.
I like them all. And Spaceballs is one of them. But let's continue.
Anyway, my point was, before Melanie decided to start talking for all of us, I did enjoy reading the story. And maybe, I finished it when I was on Sunday, so I was not feeling good. So maybe that had something to do with it. And maybe also I was expecting something amazing. And I'm not going to say it's not amazing. Mm-hmm. I wasn't super thrilled. I was a little let down. I kind of, I don't know what I expected.
It ends on a strange note. It doesn't feel complete because it's not.
That's what I was going to say. I didn't even read it, but looking through it, because like I said, I read half of it and I just flicked through the last so I would have some idea of what had happened. It didn't seem like it really concluded the majority of what was going on. So I didn't even really feel that bad because I'm like, well, it's not even done. So
my main disappointment was that I don't have the second volume right there, so I can just keep going.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, see, and that's kind of my thing. I'm not arguing against that, but that's kind of my thing. I would have been curious, but I was also, I got to the end and I was like, okay, I don't think I have to read on.
Really?
Yeah.
I would have been exactly the opposite. I would have been like, I have to know what happens next. I have to have the next chunk.
So we usually ask, would you recommend who would you recommend this to? And I guess in this book, it's I can't think of anybody I wouldn't recommend it to. I could recommend this to kids. I could recommend this to adults. I think it's just well written.
I think I would probably try to get Gabe and Bella to read it. First off, just because I want them to read more because they don't read enough because they're kids. But also, I really like it when they're into something that I can talk to them about. Mm-hmm. And too often it's, they start playing some random game on the computer that I know nothing about and really don't want to. And I don't necessarily think is good for them anyway. Mm-hmm. And so this is the kind of thing I would encourage them to get into. I think they would enjoy it and we could talk about it and experience it together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would recommend it to kids. I'm curious as to what a lot of modern I think there's things that would definitely appeal to them. Mm-hmm. I think if they get past the first couple pages, the intro's not long. The first couple pages where they're in the desert, I'd worry that they'd get lost there. If a kid's going to get lost, I think it'd be within the first couple pages because once he gets into the forest, I think they'd be on board.
Exactly.
The stuff with the bug is great. The bugs and then the possum kids running around is pretty good. So I think once kids got to that point, they'd be on board.
And I know kids pretty well. And if a kid gets on something, they're going to want more of it. And they're going to continue if they enjoy it. So, and since there is a lot of it, from what you were saying, this is exactly the kind of thing that I would try to get them to read.
I would also say to adults, yeah, read it if you want, but you can read
it's a quick read. I know a lot of people will say that they've read the whole series and they just devour it.
Yeah,
it is that is true. It's a very quick read,
and it's not. I mean, I like adult things. I prefer actually. I would say gory, horrific type stuff, and I still would like something like this. So
yeah.
I don't think I liked it as much as you guys did. I just want to make that clear.
That's Like I said.
That's okay, Randy. It's okay.
No,
you can be wrong. It's all right.
I didn't say it was bad. And this is particularly funny coming after our pre-show talk about that YouTube comment.
Right.
But I mean, it's true. Like, I enjoyed it, but there's something about it that, like, I don't know. Like, I was trying to explain to Melanie, I was like the look of Thorn. I think particularly her, what really threw me off is it made it feel then like an old children's book in a way that I didn't really like. It felt like like a book my grandma or maybe my mom would have owned when she was a small girl, and it's been around the house forever. Like, it's been kicking around for decades, and then I found it, and it's this like weird old children's story. That's the look of Thorn to me. The
first time you described it, you said an old children's book that's so old it's scary. That's what you said.
Yeah, that's like, because occasionally, when I was a kid, you'd come across, I don't know, maybe other people don't, but you come across like these old children's books or art books or something, and it's like the style's so not what you're used to that it's like, oh, what's this? This is weird. And that's Thorn's face made me feel that way a little bit. So maybe that's why I don't like it.
You had the exact opposite reaction as John Everyman Bone.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, he was loving it.
I feel like John Everyman Bone is the title of this episode.
I think it should be. No, but it shouldn't just be John Everyman Bone. It should be John Everyman's Bone.
I don't know. We're getting into dangerous territory, though.
Yeah. Really, Jesse? Well, I do feel that way.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I know that's a dog, but it kind of sounded like Jesse going, "Woo!"
That's what I was saying. Yeah. I mean, I didn't say that, but it totally, my thought process. Thank you, baby.
Jesse's on board for John Everyman's Bone. Also, if you don't think the writer didn't sneak a joke in there once in a while, the founder of the town or something was Big Johnson Bone.
Oh yeah.
It was like
something like that. Okay. Yeah,
he's in on the joke too.
But that's good, because then we get it and we're like, but you know who's gonna love that? Gabe and other kids his age that are like, I'm old enough to get that. Ha ha ha. You know,
you're going for the young teen.
Yes,
the young teen, slight like tween crowd.
Yes, that's what they. Tween.
Bone.
Exactly. They're gonna love it.
All right. Wow, what a review that was.
I liked it. I had a good time.
Would you recommend this review to somebody, and if so, who?
The review?
The review.
Everyone. I'm gonna make everyone I know.
This is now the definitive Bone review.
This is the one I'm gonna make everybody listen to get them to listen to the show.
Yeah.
We're gonna pull a grind bin, and now every episode going forward, we're gonna talk about how this review of the Bone would fit into our future episodes.
Yeah.
Not Bone itself, this review of Bone.
Yeah. So what would you do? What would you do with Spider-Man? I'd have him race that cow.
He'd race that cow. Yeah, exactly.
Let's see if Spider-Man can beat that cow in a race.
His name is now Spider Bone.
Spider Bone. There we go.
I like it.
You want to write a Spider Bone? So this is what happens when we record on a weekday evening.
Yep.
All right, so that was Bone. Letters page. We have no letters to read you today, but if you want to send us an email or an MP3, we'll play it on the show. Send those things to... I do it every episode. It's never less awkward. Letters at grawlixpodcast.com. That's LETTERS. You know, like those things that people used to send through the mail, not the email, just mail. But you can send it to us in email. Or you can leave us a voice message on our voice line. Call 559-426-6427, or to help you remember, 559-4-COMICS. Type that into your telephone, and it'll be like an answering machine. You'll get a message, and then talk to us. give us feedback, tell us what you thought of something we reviewed, or just say hi.
Yeah.
Yep. But if you leave a YouTube comment, then we'll just you'll be part of the pre-show.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I do want to take this back for a moment. Letters page. We do have something. I did get something.
Oh my gosh.
I did get something in the letters page account.
This is monumentous.
It came through as a text message.
Oh.
It said, "Are you interested?"
In what?
That's all. That's it.
I got this just the other day, and I was like, "What is this?" And it came through as a text message. So somebody texted that number.
Huh.
So then I pulled it up, and from that same number, I had gotten messaged in December of this last year, so several months ago, from an Army recruiter asking if I was still interested in joining, like we talked about at the library the other day or something. It was some Army recruiter who had talked to, I'm assuming, a student. They were doing their recruiting thing, and that's the number the student gave them to call back.
Oh.
And I was like, I don't think they're interested because they gave you the wrong number.
Right. Yeah.
But then I just thought it was so strange. Then like 3-4 months later, they just randomly, "Are you interested?" And it's like big delay and really going for every possibility there.
Their desperation created a moisture that you could swim through.
Yes. It's like, "Listen, lady, you don't want me."
I think we're all above the cutoff age anyway.
Yeah. I'm not good Army property at this moment. I would not be good.
No.
There would be a bad return on investment.
Exactly. Yeah, that's my point. Yeah. You can do better.
Yeah.
All right, come on, we're in.
This is awesome. We're in the Grawlix studios.
Look, it's a plate of Mel's Hot Biscuits. I've heard about those.
Oh my God, check it out. Jesse and Randy's beard oil. I didn't know you can buy that in buckets. Well, that Sam Club's membership is really paying off.
Okay, let's get in their computer and drop this promo.
Okay, let's do it.
We're the Roman Podcast, and in the future, we're sneaking a promo on the Grawlix Show.
Okay, seriously.
Seriously. Here we go.
I'm Roman LeBeau.
And I'm Rob Gast.
And we're from the Roman Podcast. We're just two Canadian guys getting together once a week to put our own spin on weird stories and trending news.
That's right. You can get our show every Wednesday night on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, the Laughable app, and of course, here on the EMC Podcast Network.
Okay, I think we got it. Put that on their show. Let's get out of here.
Yeah. Hang on. While I'm in their computer, I'm just going to update their comic book pull list for the next few months.
What are you adding?
Captain Canuck, of course.
Nice.
Next episode, we'll be talking about, who knows? Most likely, we'll talk about some movie activity and some TV.
Yeah.
Some TV
This is our April episodes, so we're about ready for prime summer movie season.
Yeah, maybe do a little Iron Fist talk and do a little bit of what movies coming up are we excited for and stuff like that.
This is Melanie, and every man dies. Not every man really Grawlixes.
This is Jesse. Nothing goes over my head. My reflexes are too fast, and I would Grawlix it.
This is Randy. Yeah, it's called a Grawlix, sweetheart. Thank you for listening to the Grawlix Podcast. The Grawlix Podcast is a production of the Electronic Media Collective and Vorpal Arrow Studios. For more Grawlix Podcasts, check out grawlixpodcast.com. Also find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play Music, YouTube, electronicmediacollective.com, facebook.com/Grawlix Podcast, twitter.com/Grawlix Podcast, all the .com/all the Grawlix Podcasts. It's called a Grawlix, sweetheart. Yeah, it's called a Grawlix, sweetheart.
Everything's better with voices.
I highly doubt that's how he said it, but
that's how you want him to say it.
That's the take I'm leaving in. So,
yeah.
All right, that was a weird show.
That was a weird show, but it was fun.
I can tell you had fun.
I did. I enjoyed myself quite a bit. I need to spread I need to spread somewhere. I'm tired of sitting.
You should go swim.
Yeah.
Swim in our fans.
Go swim in our fans. Don't. Here, don't forget to oil up with this desperation.
Okay. These are some pretty good. These are my pajama pants that I pretend are fancy pants because they have pockets and I like them and they're comfy. And nobody knows. Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
They don't. I wear them to work. I wear them all the time, and people think they're like, work pants, and I'm like, these are pajamas.
But don't tell anyone.
Yep.
Office secrets.
Yep.
All right. This is getting wackier and wackier.